The TV championship on the line with Sammy Guevara and the other Page. And the stipulations on let me see if I can get this correct. The way they've set this up over the past few weeks, and apparently either Dan Lambert and America's Top Team didn't want to go all the way from Florida to Boston, or they had a wedding to go to or whatever, but Lambert and them weren't there. But if Sammy wins, then not only does he retain the TNT TV title, but he gets to pick 3 of the members of American Top Team to team up with Scorpio Sky and the other Page in a 10-man tag match at Full Gear against, the Dinner Circle. But if Sammy loses, not only does he lose the title, but he leaves the Dinner Circle and therefore cannot be in the 10-man tag at the pay-per-view. Did I summarize that correctly?
I think so. It is confusing.
Okay, well, what's not confusing is, are they going to have a different match than they always do? And the answer is no. A jump start. Immediately they fight to the floor with dive. They fought behind the timekeeper's table and used some chairs. Excrement said, well, the bell hasn't even rung. But when the jump start happened in the ring, I heard a quick ding ding. Whether the referee signaled for it or not, I think the timekeeper thought, well, they're fighting, so we should ring the bell, which he would have been correct, but that wasn't the story. Because then they had to bounce each other off the barricades some more and finally got in the ring, and then the ref rang the bell officially. And then I got distracted. And I like Sammy Guevara. I think he's a great babyface. He has incredible fire to him. He's so athletic. He had that slappable little face as a heel, but now that he's a babyface and he has so much fire and piss and vinegar to him, I see why the people get with him. I didn't want to watch this because I don't care, as I've mentioned, if the other Page reanimates the corpse of Luthez and stretches him in his own fucking step-over toe-hold crossface. This fucking jack-off is one of these clown show pretend wrestlers, and he didn't wrestle the sex toy or the small grade school children. He just wrestled himself on pay-per-view. So fuck him. And they did a bunch of shit that they probably should have sold a lot longer than they did. And then finally, Sammy Guevara won. What did I miss in the match? I know you probably liked it. You like Sammy. You even like the other Page.
I actually wasn't crazy about this match. Like you said, whatever match in my head I thought it would be, that's exactly what it was. And Sammy looks like he's putting on some size. That's a good thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like he's a little bigger than we've seen him. And it's not about Paige and it's not about Sammy. It's about this whole Inner Circle Dan Lambert feud. I don't like any of this, and it turned me off to the match. I didn't really enjoy it too much.
Well, afterwards, of course, there has to be heat afterwards. The afterbirth, as they say. Somebody got on me, so why do you say that all the time? I said, that's the fucking term. Oh, because that's another one of the old wrestling terms that nobody uses anymore because they're too busy pretending to be wrestlers to learn what wrestlers actually did or said.
Did you see PETA just complained about baseball using the term bullpen?
I heard that, that's where it gets stupid. That's what gives animal lovers a bad name. That's what gives liberals a bad name when somebody just goes way too far. Because it's been long enough now in the fucking baseball business that they've called it a bullpen that nobody even knows that's also the actual pen where the bulls are in before they get killed. And as long as there's no killing of animals involved with the baseball game, I would think you can use the term. But if instead of worrying about that, maybe they all ought to each dig in their pocket and send an extra $500 to animal charities instead of worrying about the baseball business. Anyway.
I like that they even had a suggestion that was terrible. Instead of bullpen, call it the arm barn.
I don't know what that means.
Well, they're pitchers. They use their arms. Instead of bullpen, arm barn.
Yeah. Well, maybe Pottery Barn then could sue them over that. And besides that, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were members of the Mighty Marvel bullpen.
Yeah, it's a word that no one in the world is offended by, and someone all of a sudden is like, you should be. You should be, and here's why. Those poor bulls 200 years ago.
Well,
what?
I got some words that you can be offended by, and here they are. Chris Jericho came out and did a promo.
Ugh.
Because, of course, after Sammy won, the heels had to get on him, and then here comes the entire dinner circle to make the save. And Jericho cuts the promo. The 10-man tag team match at Full Gear between America's Top Team and the Dinner Circle will now be a Minneapolis street fight. Now it's just whatever town we're in, we're going to have the street fight. No disqualification. Lazy booking. A big 10-man mess where they can do whatever they want, and they didn't even announce who Sammy picked. They're not going to announce that till next week, the 3 members of the team. And then Jericho recited Aerosmith.
Nothing but cheap pops. He's so lame. He's the lamest fucking wrestler.
Tony Schiavone was in the back. Tony is now officially the only person doing interviews. So it's disorienting. You would think at some point, as I mentioned last week, I think he'd be out of breath, right? Because he's always there at the desk when they go to the desk, but yet he was just in the back before the break, or he had to run back. Oh my God. They ought to get him one of those fucking hover rounds or something. So he's going to wear himself out. He was with Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston, and they've got a match in the tournament. Are they literally going to send Bryan Danielson all the way through to the finals of this tournament without him actually wrestling one legitimate heel in the entire fucking thing?
I think so, and then I think they're going to turn Moxley, maybe.
Well, I hope to God, because he turned quite a while back. As Aunt Lola would say, yeah, them tomatoes, I left them out too long, and they've plumb turned. He turned for me quite a while back. Anyway, they did a good promo for both guys, and Kingston's like, it takes Zoloff to keep from flipping out, and I get angry about it, and I'm going to take it out on you, and he walks off, right? And then the only problem was, after he'd walked off, Bryan has to fire up and do a promo, but then he starts talking to the camera like he's talking to Kingston, but we just saw Kingston exit stage right, so it was a little disorienting there. I would have directed some of my promo after where Eddie had walked off at and then opened it up for the rest of the world. But nevertheless, good promo. Bryan Danielson fired up a little bit. Then Tony, the next thing we saw was with the Lucha Brothers and Alex. And Penthouse spoke Spanish, and Felix tried to speak English. And then Alex, our boy, cut a good wrestling promo. But God, he's such a fucking natural heel, and they put him in a position of being a babyface. I just don't understand this. But anyway, Alec, he has a heel face. He has a heel delivery and condescending, sneerish. I love this guy. I wish he could manage everybody. Especially so we'd see somebody else instead of the Lucha Brothers. But you know what the problem was with this, Brian?
What's that?
Remember, we've said, I think it was last week, brilliant formatting. CM Punk ran in and made a save, and they were able to play the music and everything at the top of the hour. At the top of the hour in this program, they were in a pre-tape with Alex cutting a promo and then went to a Serena Deeb entrance. And we love Serena Deeb, and we love Alex. But that's not the point of top of the hour star power hooking people that are switching by. That's, well, we're just in the middle of a show.